from ghettos to Gaza. Since the onset of the conflict in Gaza in October 2023, the situation has spiraled into a catastrophe that echoes the darkest moments in human history. Reports indicate that over 59,000 Palestinians have lost their lives amidst widespread devastation of essential infrastructure such as homes, hospitals, and schools. In a troubling development, the International Court of Justice has issued orders for Israel to take steps to prevent what appears to be genocide. Yet the humanitarian crisis only intensifies each day, bringing immense suffering to countless individuals. During a speech in London in May 2024, Holocaust survivor Stephen Kapos vocalized his condemnation of Israel's military actions in Gaza, describing them as potentially constituting the last stages of ethnic cleansing by means of genocide. He cautioned against the temptation to use the memory of the Holocaust to rationalize horrific actions. His statement resonates powerfully against the stark irony of the phrase "never again," which now seems to echo in a climate of mass displacement and dire starvation. Although numerous historians and scholars recommend being careful when making direct comparisons between different historical events, it's difficult to ignore a few notable similarities. Throughout the Holocaust, individuals of Jewish descent endured systematic dehumanization, starvation, and forced confinement within ghettos. Currently, in Gaza, an alarming 85% of the population is internally displaced, with famine looming over the heads of more than 1 million individuals. The obliteration of cultural landmarks, including all of Gaza's 12 universities and upwards of 80% of its schools, bears a resemblance to the Nazi efforts aimed at erasing Jewish identity. Israeli historian Amos Goldberg has provocatively asserted that the notion of self-defense does not preclude the possibility of genocide, thus challenging the prevailing binary perception of victim versus perpetrator. In a significant admission made in 2025, former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Olmert acknowledged that Israel is engaging in war crimes, specifically referring to what he described as the indiscriminate, limitless, cruel and criminal killing of civilians. Moreover, the strategy of starvation as a military weapon has drawn explicit condemnation from the International Criminal Court, reminiscent of the brutal siege tactics employed by Nazi forces in Leningrad and the Warsaw Ghetto, where civilians found themselves trapped, deprived of essential aid, and subjected to continuous bombardment. In Gaza, humanitarian shipments are frequently obstructed, and those seeking assistance have increasingly become targets in horrifying incidents that some term flower massacres. Nevertheless, genocide scholar Ernesto Verdea emphasizes that while the Holocaust was marked by an industrialized and unique ideology, the tragedy unfolding in Gaza, though different, exposes critical failures within global institutional frameworks meant to prevent such mass atrocities. The United Nations' responsibility to protect doctrine appears to be in disarray, as influential states provide Israel with protections against being held accountable. The Holocaust served as a grim lesson in the dangers of silence in the face of injustice. Today, once more, standing in silence equates to complicity. As Stephen Kapos stated, Holocaust survivors understand the pain, the fear, and the destruction that Gazans are currently facing. Although the parallels between these two tragedies may not be exact, they are powerful enough to prompt an urgent reevaluation of our moral responsibilities. As of July 2025, Israel has declared daily 10-hour tactical pauses in military operations across key parts of Gaza to facilitate aid delivery, including areas such as Al-Mawasi, Deir al-Balah, and Gaza City. These brief lulls have enabled coordinated efforts with the UN and international agencies to distribute humanitarian assistance. Jordan and the UAE jointly parachuted 25 tons of emergency supplies into Gaza, while Egypt resumed land shipments via Karam Shalom, delivering over 1,200 metric tons of food. Despite these gestures, UN officials warn that such aid remains a drop in the ocean, as 1 in 3 Gazans reportedly has not eaten for days and children are succumbing to malnutrition. Worrying reports indicate ongoing assaults on civilians trying to reach these relief convoys, raising significant concerns about the effectiveness and safety of these humanitarian efforts.